All right. What we got here? Trump at the NATO summit in Netherlands. Very cool. Very good. We love NATO. NATO is my favorite place, even though I broadly speaking, hate European democracy because they are, in terms of every objective metric, are performing better than us. Very cool. Very good. I love Europe. I love NATO. Even though I love my daddy Putin even more. I love daddy Putin. Blah 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 blah. Anywho, like we know the meme. What we got here? He's doing like a press conference at the NATO summit. Oh, there's the big man with a big plan.
Well, thank you very much. This has been an honor. It was a fairly long trip, but worth it. Tremendous things have been accomplished, as you probably noticed. Listened to a lot of wonderful speeches from the heads of a lot of wonderful countries. But I want to thank you for joining us at the conclusion of a highly productive NATO summit in the Netherlands. I want to thank them for the royal treatment they've given us. Couldn't have been nicer. And it's a beautiful country, really a beautiful country. Coming in, I saw the most beautiful trees. In fact, I want to bring some back with me. I want to also thank, I had breakfast this morning with the King and Queen, and they're incredible people. I said, your central casting, beautiful people, great people, big, beautiful heart. And I enjoyed that. And also, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who's been terrific. He's been a friend of mine. Used to be right here running this wonderful country. Now he's the NATO Secretary General, doing a fantastic job. And the Prime Minister. We appreciate everything you've done. And as you know, last weekend, the United States successfully carried out a massive precision strike on Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities. And it was very, very successful. It was called obliteration.
Yep. Obliteration. Yeah, there's like no evidence at all to suggest that. Even his own like intelligence agencies are saying like, yeah, he keeps calling it obliteration. There's like nothing to suggest that it was obliterated at all. It's just fucking nonsense. Like none whatsoever. They weren't fucking obliterated. If anything, it caused like what, a couple months setback for the Iranians because again, like I said before, the US warned the Iranians when they were going to do the attack, how they were going to do the attack. And the reason for that is because, let's say, hypothetically speaking, they bombed the nuclear facilities while fissile material was in there, the enriched uranium at 60%. Let's say it was in there. Do you know what fucking happens? It gets, I don't know, fucking obliterated, kicked up into the dust, and that dust gets carried into, well, the fucking airstreams and will get spread across neighboring countries, which will irradiate them. So guess what the US doesn't want? The US, more than likely, does not want a bunch of irradiated Middle Eastern countries or even Russia, because Russia is not that far geographically from Iran. So that's why they ended up warning the Iranians, saying like, can you just like, we're going to be doing this attack at this time on these places. Can you like, and this is how we're going to do it. Can you just like, just move the material out there. We're giving you an opportunity to do that because we don't want to kick up a bunch of nuclear dust into the air and cause a potential giant fucking shitstorm.
No other military on earth could have done it, and now this incredible exercise of American strength has paved the way for peace with a historic ceasefire agreement late Monday, and we call it the 12-day war. Spoke to a few people. I guess that just sounded like the right name. It was a 12-day war, and we think it's over. I don't think they're going to be going back at each other. I don't think so. Not only have we dealt decisively with the critical threat of Iran's nuclear program, which is what I wanted. I said Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've said that for 15 years, long before I decided to do the political thing. But we've also...
Damn, would be a darn shame if there was a particular deal in place that was in place that you decided to tear up because it didn't have your name on it, and you were just jellied that the black man had the fucking name on that fucking goddamn deal instead of you. Would be a darn shame if there wasn't already something in place that took care of that problem, Trump. But you know, yeah, whatever.
Asserted the credibility of American deterrence, which is like no other. The people at NATO said there's never been anything. You know, I rebuilt the entire military during my first term, and we have a great military. We have great generals. I got to know the good ones and the bad ones. We kept the good ones. Over the past few days, I was honored to participate in the NATO leaders meeting and also had extremely good individual discussions with the King and Queen, Secretary General Rutte, and the Prime Minister. Great discussions. Very knowledgeable people. The major focus of our conversations at the summit was the need for other NATO members to take up the burden of the defense of Europe, and that included the financial burden. As you know, it was 2%, and we got it up to 5%. And they said, a couple of them came up to me, one in particular said, sir, we've been trying to get it up to 3% for 20 years, and we haven't been able, and you got it up to 5%. So they're going to be most of...
So again, we've already talked about why more than likely a lot of the European, like they just can't fucking bring up 5% of GDP is a lot of fucking money. The United States isn't even at 5% of fucking GDP, and the argument is basically that, well, why do we have to pay so much more into the military? Because your economy is like 10 times stronger than every European nation's fucking what is the like GDP of the entirety of Europe? I'm curious. GDP of the European Union. About $19 trillion. The US is about twice that. About twice. So, again, like, why do they have to be the ones that pick up the fucking goddamn slack? You still have more money than them. Like, it doesn't... I want people to understand that this shit just doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, you are the ones who have more fucking goddamn money. Why should it be the people with the less money that, whoa, crazy, have to pay more into their military? Again, it's all like a stupid like power play, because conservatives, all they care about is everyone being militarized, okay? They love militarization, so they could use this as like an arm to do potential fucking aggression, okay? I'll give the lefties this. The only reason why Trump is doing this is because Donald Trump wants to outsource, more than likely, a lot of probable wars and skirmishes and conflicts, more so to the Europeans, right? This is probably my sort of guess in theory, and he wants to use the NATO countries as a sort of arm to be able to do that, to outsource fucking aggression, so then, you know, he can sort of have better political plays in a sort of like domestic sort of front. The only area where I disagree with the fucking lefties in terms of NATO is the sort of like purposes and reasoning and existence of fucking NATO. Yeah, NATO's not going to go anywhere because, again, hey, lefties, are you guys forgetting about the multiple attacks that the Russian Federation did throughout the 90s and 2008 on, you know, Chechnya, Transnistria, and also Abkhazia and South Ossetia and Georgia? I wonder why NATO still fucking exists to this point. You know, it's some food to fucking think about, right? And people talk about how NATO is the arm of the U.S.'s imperialism. No, it is not. The arm of U.S. imperialism is its own military, and not even its own military so much, but more so the World Bank and the IMF. That is the arm of U.S. fucking imperialism. But whatever. No one fucking ever acknowledges that. It's fucking stupid.
Most of them, I guess almost all of them, are going to be contributing now. 5%, the number that people are surprised that you need it today. The United States accounts for 2/3 of all.
Spain said, no, we're not going up to 5%. You can suck it. Like, fuck off. Again, he just wants to outsource imperialism more so to probably the Europeans and NATO instead of, well, himself. That's why. And who even knows if that's the fucking case? That's just like a potential fucking theory that, you know, I just randomly decided to come up with. It's fucking stupid. Like, this isn't going to do anything except just raise tensions in the region for no fucking reason. Because everyone's got more fucking weapons. So that's cool.
NATO defense spending since I began pushing for additional commitments in 2017. Believe it or not, our allies have increased spending by $700 billion. I said to people, you don't have any money, and a lot of them weren't paying. And so I started the process, and I picked it up as soon as I got back, which is 6 months ago. And following my election last November, almost all have accelerated plans to reach the 2%, 3%.
Again, this is like, okay, the point that I'm saying here is like, it is a good thing for people to be spending less on their militaries, right? If you are spending more on your military, what does that fucking imply? That implies that there is instability. Quite literally. Since Donald Trump is an agent of chaos, he is fine with instability. He doesn't give a fuck about things being unstable because he's more than likely going to be okay even through the instability. He wants that because it's easier for him to maintain systems and hierarchies of control. That's the entirety of this point. He just wants people to be under his fucking boot. And if he can sew in as much chaos as possible, then that's a pretty good way to be able to, well, maintain that fucking hierarchy. That's the entirety of the point of doing all this, like, fucking complete utter nonsense. It's incredibly fucking stupid. Like, this isn't going to accomplish fucking anything. Like, raising tensions and making everything worse on the global stage, for what purpose exactly? Because, you know, I have, like, a complete idiotic idea of how geopolitics works. It's fucking stupid. Like, again, a sign of increased military spending means you want the world to be more inherently unstable. You want military spending to not be as high, generally speaking, because you would rather sort of project peace, project that we do not need militarism in order to be able to seek solutions to our problems. We can talk with each other like human fucking beings and get along on the world stage. But again, he doesn't want to get along with anyone on the world stage because he's a selfish narcissist.
4%, and then ultimately, very quickly, 5%. And all of this is going to be done very quickly, almost immediately. You probably know this as well as I do. I'm sure they've been talking about it. It's really been a big focus.
Sure, man.
A historic milestone this week. The NATO allies committed to dramatically increase their defense spending to that 5% of GDP, something that no one really thought possible. And they said, you did it, sir, you did it. Well, I don't know if I did it, but I think I did. This will be known as the Hague Defense Commitment, which is pretty good, pretty appropriate. When the allies reach this number, it will add more than $1 trillion a year. Think of that, $1 trillion per year to our common defense. And this is a monument, really, to victory, but it's a monumental win for the United States because we were carrying much more than our fair share. It was quite unfair, actually. But this is a big...
You're still not even getting fucking close to your fucking fair share. Again, like, what do you need all this fucking spending for? Oh, it's just military industrial complex bullshit. That's the only point of any of this fucking spending. You don't need to do this. It's just unnecessary. It's fucking stupid.
A big win for Europe and for actually Western civilization. For years, past administrations failed to...
Western civilization.
Even the 2%. I remember when I came here, we had 4 countries that were up to 2%, and I remember Poland was there. A couple of them were there, and but most of them were... We had 28 at the time, as you know.
Guys, I wonder what 4 countries he's talking about there. Couldn't be Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Poland. I wonder why they are spending a bit more on military spending in comparison to the rest of the NATO member countries. Because Poland knows in a hypothetical scenario, if NATO were to go to war with the Russians, that they would be the first point of contact. Same with the Baltic states. They understand that, so they spend more money as a just in case. Like, well, we need more soldiers and more equipment to be able to put up as long of a defense as possible, so then our allies can come in and help us push out the Russians. That's the point. That's why.
It's increased a little bit, and they've agreed now to more than double their budgets in all cases. And Europe stepping up to take more responsibility for its security will help prevent future disasters like the horrible situation with Russia and Ukraine, and hopefully we're going to get that solved. Last week they lost 7,000 soldiers.
Every single time, like, so last week they lost 7,000. I don't believe him. He's full of shit. Like, he's more than likely lying. Like, the 5,000 per week fucking goddamn claim he had. Now he's increased it to 7,000. Was dubious at best, and this is also more than likely dubious at best. He's probably lying here. Europe doesn't want to really go at war with anyone. No one really wants to go at war with anyone. The only people who are being aggressive and trying to assert their imperialistic claims are the Russians, because again, they are fascists, and the rhetoric that they used to justify the invasion was pure blood and fucking soil shit. That's it.
Mostly soldiers, but they're also getting hit in Kiev. They're getting hit in some of the towns also.
That you've done like
life is
nothing
disappearing
about.
Also in the cities and towns. Should have never happened. Would have never happened if I was president. I've said it 1,000 times, and it never did happen. It's never even thought about. But it's vital that...
Yes, you are correct, Randy. It is about 3% of GDP. Like, they aren't even close to 5%. Like I've said before, 5% of GDP for the fucking goddamn United States would be about $2 trillion. I did the rough calculations. About $1.8, $1.9 trillion. They're not even close to that. So, again, the only reason why Trump is doing this is because he wants to outsource, more than likely, fucking imperialism to the Europeans. That's why. And because, again, like I've been saying before as a broader concept, bringing down military spending should be the point. You should not be spending more and more money in the military. If you are spending more and more money on the military, that is a sign of, whoa, crazy, that there is instability and that there may be conflict coming soon. That's something that nobody fucking wants. But again, Mad King dipshit, who thrives off of the fucking chaos, wants stuff like that so he can assert his own dominance and control on people. That's the fucking point of him trying to do any of this stuff. He's just a chaos agent.
Let this additional money be spent on very serious military hardware, not bureaucracy, and hopefully that hardware is going to be made in America because we have the best hardware in the world. You saw that, where 14 missiles were shot at us the other day, and they were very nice. They gave us warning. They said, we're going to shoot them. Is 1 o'clock okay? They said, it's fine. And everybody was emptied off the base, so they couldn't get hurt except for the gunners. They call them the gunners. And out of 14 high-end missiles that were shot at the base in Qatar, all 14, as you know, were shot down by our equipment. Amazing stuff. Amazing that they could do. It's like shooting a bullet with a bullet. It's the same thing if you think about it. 14 out of 14, and they weren't even that surprised. I said, you do that well often? They said, we pretty much do, sir. The Ukraine crisis has also highlighted the urgency of rebuilding our defense industrial base, both in the United States and among the allied nations. We cannot afford to be dependent on foreign adversaries.
You are still spending the most money on military, more than the top 10 countries combined. Why does it need to be rebuilt still? I don't know. It's Again, this is all just in service of the military industrial complex, which he is a complete suck up to.
For critical minerals, and as you know, we made a deal with Ukraine to take a vast amount of the land they have for minerals. We need it. And once again, I want to thank all of the people in the Netherlands, incredible people.
Yeah, dude, because Ukraine has a lot of rare earth minerals to fucking get exploited for. Because again, the point of any of this is, again, it's just all about dominance for this dumbass.
It's a great place. And all of the NATO allies for the tremendous summit that we just had. A letter just came in, and a statement came in from the Atomic Energy Commission of Israel. And I just wanted, this is an official letter, and they're very serious people, as you know. The devastating U.S. strike on Fordo destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility totally inoperable. It was devastated. We assess that the American strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities has set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons for many years to come. This achievement can continue.
It's Iran nuclear program setback. There's no evidence to say that. Strike set Iran's nuclear program by only a few months. U.S. report says. National Post as well. American attack only set Iran's nuclear program by a few months. By months, the U.S. intelligence report suggests. I don't know what schizophrenia nonsense that Donald Trump is reading. Probably something with a lot of pictures from a Fox News associate or some shit saying you did really good, sir. You did so good and fantastic and very excellent. You set them back by many, many years, even though there's constant evidence to the fucking contrary. And he's just doing that because of it's because of his fucking ego that this is being said. Because, he didn't want to get, ego mogged by fucking Israel. It's fucking stupid.
And indefinitely if Iran does not get access to nuclear material, which it won't. It's so sad that whole thing had to go. But
they still have the nuclear material.
Treated very bad. Demeaned by fake news CNN, which is back there, believe it or not. Wasting time. And nobody's watching them, so they're just wasting a lot of time. Wasting my time. And the New York Times, they put out a story that, well, maybe they were hit, but it wasn't bad. Well, it was so bad that they ended the war. It ended the war. Somebody said in a certain way, that it was so devastating, actually. If you look at Hiroshima, if you look at Nagasaki, that ended the war, too. This ended the war in a different way, but it was so devastating. Also, they have, out of Dubai, just came that Iran.
What the fuck is he? Okay. Just schizo nonsense? Yeah, dude. Yeah, because the nukes that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki are same as, these dumb fucking bunker buster bombs. Yeah, it was stupid.
Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, this is Iran's foreign ministry, says its nuclear installations were very badly damaged by the American strike. So what bothered me about these reports, with fake reports put out by the New York Times, I call it the failing New York Times because it's doing terribly. Without me, it would be doing no business at all. But and by fake news, CNN and MSDNC, all of these terrible people, they have no credibility. When I started, they were 94% credibility. The media now it's at 16%, and I'm very proud of it because I've exposed it for what it is. But when I
yeah, because the schizophrenics that you call your fucking voter base is just they totally had nothing to do to skew any of those media credibility sort of assessment. Yeah, fucking stupid.
When I saw them starting to question the caliber of the attack, was it bad? Well, it was really bad. It was devastating. They were obliterated. But you can't get into the tunnels. They just put that over. That just came out. They can't. There's no way you can even get down. The whole thing is collapsed in a disaster. And I think all of the nuclear stuff is down there because it's very hard to remove. And we did it very quickly when they heard we were coming. It was you can't move it. Very hard, very dangerous actually to move to. And they also knew we were coming. So I don't think too many people want to be down there knowing we're coming with the bunker busters as we call them. We're the only ones that have them. We have the best equipment, best nuclear equipment, and we have the best equipment in the world. And by the way, we can't forget our submarine, which was out there. Submarines actually, but submarine was out there. We shot 30 rockets into an area. Every single one of them. I think it was almost 400 miles away. I think 400 and long. It was in the ocean, long ways away. And we shot a total of 30. Every single one of them hit within 9 inches from where it was supposed to be. It took out a lot because we didn't do just Fordo. We did 2 others in addition, which hadn't been completely destroyed. So we hit them with a submarine from hundreds of miles away. Amazing, just amazing equipment. Greatest submarines in the world. Nobody's
so good
behind us when it comes to submarine technology.
Isn't the Tomahawk an incredibly old system? It's a system that's been around since the fucking 80s, my dude. Okay, whatever.
So that's one, and the other was from the Atomic Energy Commission, and they have about 3 or 4 of them now coming in from Atomic Energy Commissions from various places. But the one that we have that just came out, we released it a little while ago, was from the Israeli Atomic Energy Commission. But numerous of them are getting to see the site.
Oh boy, Israel!
Demolished. And again, we had these brave patriots, these incredible flyers, these people that can fly a plane better than anybody can fly a plane, going into very hostile territory, flying into the territory that has got more missiles and things pointed.
Yeah, like that Israel secured fucking air superiority over, so then you could do your dumb fuck little, I don't know, like LARP propaganda shit show fest bombing fest that again accomplished none of the fucking objectives that you wanted. Like it's fucking stupid. Like again, they've been set back only a few months. Every expert is saying like, yeah, this has like accomplished fucking nothing. Like this is really dumb. But whatever.
But it was very stealth. They didn't get to see it. It was dark. That's the amazing thing about the shots. They hit the shots perfectly, and yet it was dead dark. There was no moon. There was no light. It was virtually moonless. It was very dark, and the shots were hit perfectly. But when they get to mean, and they were very upset about it because they knew how strong it would be. Back in Missouri, the pilots flew about 36 hours two ways, far distance, and in those incredible B-2s. And we then had the F-22s, and we had the F-35s, and we had other planes, and we had, I think, a total of 52 tankers. That means the big tankers, because the refueling was a lot for all of the different planes that we sent. Incredible operation, and I have to say, General Raisin Kane was incredible. That's why he beat ISIS, and we beat ISIS in a matter of weeks. I was told it would take 4 to 5 years. We did it in a few weeks, and he was.
Guys, let's not pay attention to the Kurdish contribution to beating ISIS, but whatever. Again, like there's just like old man rambling. We've seen all the bullshit. He's an old man. He's rambling. I love to ramble, folks.
Great. That's why he's ahead of the Joint Chiefs of Staff right now, because I had a very good experience with him. He knocked out ISIS in a period of literally a few weeks. Amazing. And it was supposed to take a few years, 5 years to be exact. So we had a great victory there, and we then came here, and I think we had a great victory here. But this is an ongoing project. This is the safety of Europe, the safety of the world, and they've raised it from 2% to 5%, something which nobody. And you're talking about over $1 trillion a year, so we're talking about a lot of money coming in from countries that we're not paying.
More money for the military-industrial complex. Let's go.
Rubio with me, and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State and Secretary of War. Should we say Secretary? You know, it used to be called Secretary of War. Maybe for a couple of weeks we'll call it that because we feel like warriors. It used to be called Secretary of War. In fact, if you look at the old building next to the White House, you can see where it used to be Secretary of War. Then we became politically correct, and they called it Secretary of Defense. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to start thinking about changing it, but we feel that way. Do we have any questions, please?
Okay, it's not about being politically correct. It's about being able to manufacture. He doesn't understand like anything. God, the point of it being called the Secretary of Defense is because like it's a way to use soft language in order to be able to manufacture consent. Literally, like fucking George Carlin talked about this shit. But whatever. Like, yeah, this coming from Bone Spur Andy over here, who's a 5-time draft dodger because of bone spurs. Yeah, whatever. I'm totally a warrior, guys.
Wow, that's a lot of questions. Who's a nice person? Oh, you're not a nice person, but I'll let you ask one. Go ahead. What's he going to ask? He is not nice at all. I know him well.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time before flying home. You just said you believe the conflict between Israel and Iran is over. What makes you so confident it is? And what do you do if it isn't?
Because I dealt with both, and they're both tired, exhausted. They fought very, very hard and very viciously, very violently, and they were both satisfied to go home and get out. And can it start again? I guess someday it can. It could maybe start soon. I think a big telltale sign was when...
I like how he just immediately, like, calls into doubt instantaneously, like, well, I mean, they seem very tired, but, you know, maybe it could happen again. It could start again. I don't really know. Maybe some random bullshit could just happen. I'd say Colin gives position immediately into doubt. It's so fucking goofy, dude.
As you know, Iran somewhat, but not much, violated the ceasefire, and Israel had the planes going out that morning, and there were a lot of them, 52 of them. And I said, you got to get them back. And they brought them back. They didn't do anything. They brought them back. It was very good. I thought it was amazing, actually. They fought a hell of a war. They fought very hard. I think the war ended, actually, when we hit the various nuclear sites with the planes. And I just hope you people can give these pilots, these are the best pilots in the world. They're the best shots in the world. They call them shots. That's what they are. And wait a minute. And I just hope you can give them the respect they deserve, because they came home to fake news. And like, oh, gee, there was hardly any damage. The things are decimated. So, but I think they're very...
Your intelligence agency said there was... Again, your own fucking dudes... Your own intelligence agency said, like, yeah, barely anything happened. Like, whatever. Like I said before, you guys warned the Iranians when you were going to attack because, again, you were in fear of kicking up a bunch of nuclear dust into the air, which would spread to other countries and, whoa, irradiate them and cause a even bigger shit show than whatever fucking happened before. It's stupid. It's dumb, stupid. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Very much finished. I think Israel's going to get back to doing what they do, and I think that Iran's going to get back. You know, Iran has a huge advantage. They have great oil, and they can do things. I don't see them getting back involved in the nuclear business anymore. I think they've had it. They've been at it for 20 years, and I don't see that happening either. Now, if it does, we're always there. It won't be me. It'll be somebody else, but we're there. We'll have to do something about it. Yes, please, go ahead. Go ahead.
What do you mean by we'll have to do something about it? What are you going to do about it? Like regime change? Or something? What do you mean by that?
Oh, fake news, CNN? Oh, yeah, here we go. Wait till you hear this question. You should really say how great our soldiers and our warriors are.
I think everyone appreciates our soldiers and our warriors. I do have two questions for you, Mr. President. You just cited Israeli intelligence on these attacks. Earlier, you said U.S. intelligence was inconclusive. Are you relying on Israeli intelligence for your assessment of impact of strikes?
No, this is also Iran made the statement, and it's also, if you read the document that was given, that you can talk about if you'd like, the document said it could be very severe damage, but they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't choose to put that because it was very early after. Since then, we've collected additional intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site, and the site is obliterated, and we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out. Okay, question? Please, go ahead.
Wait, he thinks that all the material was down there? Are you wait, is he for fucking real? He thinks the material was fucking down there. Then if that is the case, this makes this strike even more fucking reckless and ridiculous because it can kick up a bunch of fucking nuclear dust, like I've been saying before. But again, I don't think it was down there because even Rafael Grossi himself said, like, we don't know where the material is. Like, we have no idea where the fuck it is. Telling me that more than likely this motherfucker doesn't know either, and he's operating probably off of, like, complete just nonsense theories and data that his, I don't know, schizos fucking probably gave him. Or, like, the schizos in power more than likely gave him. It's, again, there's just no evidence to suggest any of this. It's fucking stupid.
Go ahead. Yeah. Blue dress.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Yesterday you said China can now continue to purchase oil from Iran.
No.
Are you giving up on your maximum pressure campaign? Because there's sanctions right now on Iran.
No, look, they just had a war. The war was fought. They fought it bravely. I'm not giving up. They're in the oil business. I mean, I could stop it if I wanted. I could sell China the oil myself. I don't want to do that. They're going to need money to put that country back into shape. We want to see that happen. Would it? No, if they're going to sell oil, they're going to sell oil. We're not taking over the oil. We could have, I used to say with Iraq, keep the oil. I could say it here, too. We could have kept the oil. No, China's going to want to buy oil. They can buy it from us. They can buy it from other people. But
again, like, if you, like, how are you going to get the fucking oil from Iran? You'd have to do an invasion. What, is that the same thing that you did with fucking Syria? Stupid.
Have to put that country back into shape. It desperately needs money. Yeah. Yeah, please. Here we go. I'm picking the beauties today. Go ahead.
Mr. President, Secretary General Ruta has described President Putin as an adversary, a threat, an enemy. Do you view him the same way? And in addition to that, you mentioned General Kane, your chief of staff, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
General Kane.
Yes, he has said that Mr. Putin has territorial ambitions beyond Ukraine. Do you view that in the same way?
Possible. I mean, it's possible. I know one thing. He'd like to settle. He'd like to get out of this thing. It's a mess for him. He called the other day. He said, "Can I help you with Iran?" I said,
he's lying, by the way. Like, there's no evidence to suggest that Russia wants to, like, stop the war because, again, they currently have strategic initiative. Why would they want to stop? Every single time, like, you yourself even desperately pleaded to Vladimir, saying, "Vladimir, stop! You need to stop! This isn't like you, Pookie Bear. This is not like you at all." You did, like, a fucking, like, pathetic, petulant fucking appeal to goddamn Vladimir Putin, saying, like, no, it's not like you, no. Looking, like, extremely fucking weak, petulant, and fucking pathetic. Again, like, there's a reason why fucking Putin's not treating you seriously. And most of these dumbasses are not treating you seriously because you're not a serious person. Like, quite literally. You're a fucking clown, dude. I mean, like, what else are you even supposed to say to this? Like, yeah, dude, like, Vladimir, the Russians are definitely going to treat everything that Donald Trump is doing very, very seriously because of, I don't know, like, whatever, like, schizo fucking nonsense. It's silly.
I said, no, you can help me with Russia. Because, in the last few weeks, we took care of India and Pakistan, Kosovo, Serbia. I think on Friday we have coming in, the Congo is coming in, and Rwanda.
What, Kosovo, Serbia? What? What are you talking about? Huh? Trump, Kosovo, Serbia. Like, again, the idea that, like, Trump did anything with, like, those relations is, like, basically nothing. But whatever. Serbia was about to clash, but we ended it. Unexpectedly mentioned it. We worked with them during this press conference. And the conclusion at The Hague, Trump repeatedly, unexpectedly mentioned the conflict between Kosovo and Serbia, implying an attempt by Serbia to initiate a clash. Uh-huh. There's, like, no details about this? So he's just making it up. Okay. Just made up shit. Lovely.
Is coming in. That was a vicious war that went on, a machete war.
Yeah, we'll be honest. Okay, this is the only fucking goddamn ceasefire between M23. Well, it's being finalized. The Congolese military and M23 rebels are still fighting one another. Between which is the M23 rebels are Rwandan-backed rebel groups, and the Congo is the Congo. Their own military is fighting here, obviously, but. there was an actual like negotiated settlement that was facilitated by the United States. He's not lying about that one. Again, I have still not seen any evidence to say that the U.S. were the main facilitators. They offered to be mediators in the India-Pakistan conflict. But again, the details on those are a little shaky. Like, I've not really seen any evidence to say that, like, the main people who brought this to heel was the United States of America. It's just, like, it was a skirmish that happened over a couple of days, and then all of a sudden they decided to stop. We have no idea about any of the fucking details besides that.
Heads chopped off all over Africa. They're coming in. We did 2 others in addition to that. Nobody's ever done anything like this. No, I consider him a person that's, I think, been misguided. I'm very surprised, actually. I thought we would have had that settled. I've settled 4 of them in the meantime. But he did call up and he said, he's close to Iran. He'd like to help us get a settlement. I said, no, you help me get a settlement with Russia. And I think we're going to be doing that too. Yeah, please. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've made clear your position on what impact the strikes had. I wanted to ask you what is next with Iran. For instance, is there any indication from U.S. intelligence that Iran was able to move any material?
No, just the opposite. We think we hit them so hard and so fast they didn't get to move. And if you knew about that material, it's very hard and very dangerous to move. It's called in many people they call it dust, but it's very, very heavy. It's very, very hard to move. And they were way down. They're 30 stories down. They're literally 30, 35 stories down underground. Oh yeah, we think it's covered with granite, concrete, and steel.
Okay, so when are we going to see like radiological impact reports? Because again, if what he is saying is true, he might have started fucking World War III. Unironically. This is an incredibly fucking reckless statement here that is being said by Donald Trump. Because again, that nuclear dust, it gets fucking kicked up, it's going to be caught in the fucking airstreams, and it's going to be spread around to other fucking countries. Could even get up as far as fucking Russia. I don't exactly know how the air currents are work out. More than likely, I would think that it would probably be carried to the east. So I would think that's probably more into Pakistan and India. Maybe a little bit into Afghanistan. Maybe into some of the Central Asian countries as well. Again, I don't know 100% how the air currents within the Middle East sort of work around where Iran is. But if this is true, he has just done something incredibly fucking reckless and kicking up a bunch of nuclear dust and irradiated a bunch of other fucking countries, which is not good. That's only going to make tensions and everything in the Middle East worse. He has purposefully endangered everyone else for no fucking reason. If what he is saying is true. I don't think it's fucking true. The U.S. intelligence agencies more than likely know that that is a potential risk. And like I said before, that is more than likely why they talked with the Iranians, saying like, please move the fucking nuclear material, if you have any in there, out of there. Because our stupid, idiotic, mad king president and his schizo freaks that are around him are, well, going to do a strike here. Can you please fucking move? This is when it's going to happen. The time, the place. Move the shit out. So then, whoa, crazy. We don't have like a complete fucking quagmire started because of us.
Restarting negotiations with Iran? And if so, have they
So our people, Marco could answer this, but our people are not, I'm not. The way I look at it, they fought, the war's done, and, I could get a statement that they're not going to go nuclear. We're probably going to ask for that, but they're not going to be doing it. But they're not going to be doing it anyway. They've had it. They've had it. Now, maybe someday in the future we'll want that. But I've asked Marco, do you want to draw, I just asked him the question as we were walking on the stage, do you want to draw up a little agreement for them to sign? Because I think we can get them to sign it. I don't think it's necessary. Marco, do you want to talk about that, please?
Well, Mr. President, I think President Trump has shown a willingness to meet and talk to anybody in the world who's interested in peace. I don't know of any president that's been as willing as he has to meet with anyone and talk about peace. We'd love to have peaceful relations with any country in the world. And so obviously that'll depend on Iran's willingness not just to engage.
Sure, man. Dude, you're like one of the most like war hawk people in Capitol fucking Hill. There is not a war that you did not like, Marco Rubio. You get the hell out of here with this bullshit.
In peace, but to negotiate directly with the United States, not through some third country or fourth country process. But I know of no president, probably in our modern history, that's sought peace more than President Trump has.
You're in no rush, is that right?
I'll tell you what, look, we're going to talk to them next week with Iran. We may sign an agreement. I don't know. To me, I don't think it's that necessary. I mean, they had a war, they fought, now they're going back to their world. I don't care if I have an agreement or not. The only thing we'd be asking for is what we were asking for before about we want no nuclear, but we destroyed the nuclear. In other words, that's destroyed. I said, Iran will not have nuclear. Well, we blew it up. It's blown up. The kingdom come. And so I don't feel very...
Yeah, like I said before, okay, if this is fucking true... Time for a bunch of other fucking Middle Eastern countries, the Russians to potentially get irradiated, a ton of other like countries along the Caucasus, the Azerbaijanis, the Armenians, the Georgians. Time for all of them to get irradiated, I suppose, with a bunch of nuclear dust that's been kicked up into the atmosphere. Pakistan, the rest of the country of Iran, more than likely has now been irradiated. If what he is saying is true, I don't think it's true. There's no evidence to suggest that. But again, this is incredibly fucking reckless. And to be quite honest, very, very fucking stupid. He's talking about peace, but this is single-handedly an action that can quite literally bring about World War III and make everything worse for everybody. But again, you know, gotta do the 3 IQ macho man shit, because again, he has an idiot filled with a bunch. He's an idiot with a bunch of lumpen proletariat dipshit, you know, constituents who they don't fucking know about any of this complicated geopolitical maneuvering. Like, they don't know about any of that stuff. And he has a bunch of sycophants around him who aren't going to fucking push back on any of that stuff. Because, you know, for them, well, they're okay with maintaining their own positions within the fucking hierarchy.
Strongly about it. If we got a document, wouldn't be bad. We're going to meet with them, actually. We're going to meet with them. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, Netherlands TV, thank you for visiting our country.
Good,
As you
thank you.
understood, of course, like how you slept last night, there has
Oh, I slept beautifully.
The probably more serious question. I think you just had a meeting with President Zelensky. Did you discuss any ceasefire in this Russo-Ukrainian?
No, I wanted to know how he was doing. He was very nice, actually. We had little rough times. He was, couldn't have been nicer. I think he'd like to see an end to this. I do. I think what I took from the meeting couldn't have been nicer, actually. But I took from the meeting that he'd like to see it end. I think it's a great time to end it. I'm going to speak to Vladimir Putin, see if we can get it ended. But look, these are brave people. They're fighting these wars all over the place. You know, last week they had, I guess, close to 7,000 young soldiers, Russian and Ukrainian soldiers were killed. 7,000 in 1 week.
Again, we've already looked at the claim about the 5,000 a week claim. It's complete poppycock. It's nonsense. Like, at most, it's like 2,000, maybe? But 5,000? Not so much.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'll be speaking to Putin. No, I had a good meeting with Zelensky, and I had a lot of good meetings. We had a lot of good meetings with a lot of people, a lot of great leaders. But he's fighting a brave battle. It's a tough battle. Yeah. Go ahead, white dress.
Thank you. Ida Alekanen from Finland, Ilta-Sanomat.
Good.
You have played golf with President Alexander Stubb. How do you see Finland as a NATO ally and partner, and how would you describe your relationship with our president?
Well, he's a very good golfer. Okay. In fact, he was on his college golf team.
We love golf.
He went to a good college
Don't we,
in the South,
folks?
you know, very good college, and he was a good golfer. We had a good time. I think my relationship's great. I want to buy icebreakers. You know, you're very good at icebreakers. And I actually made him an offer. I didn't go to Congress. They'll try and impeach me for this. But there's an old, it's not old, it's fairly new, but it's used icebreaker. And I offered him about 1/3 of what he asked for. But we're negotiating. We need icebreakers in the U.S., and if we can get some inexpensively, I'd like to do that. Actually, they'll fix it up, make it good. Also, we may buy some icebreakers. You know, you're the king of icebreakers. That particular country, they make them good. They make them really good.
We love
They do it.
icebreaking,
And,
folks.
so we're negotiating with them for about 15 different icebreakers. But
Yeah, again, they want the fucking icebreakers because of the new front of imperialism is going to be the Arctic. Like, that's the point.
one of them is available now. It's old, and it's old. It's like 5-6 years old. And we're trying to buy it. I'm trying to make a good deal. That's all I do my whole life. My whole life, that's all I do is make deals. Yeah, please. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's not even mention about what he's 0 for 7 currently with Iran, 0 for 3 with the Ukrainians. I thought he was gonna. What happened, Trump? I thought you were gonna get a Ukraine like ceasefire deal or something like, whatever. Yeah, man.
Yeah, question for NewsHour Dutch TV. First of all, on Article 5, on your way here, you spoke about the commitment of the U.S. to Article 5, saying, I'll give you my definition once we're here.
Yeah.
What is your definition, and may the U.S. commitment to Article 5 change in case some of the NATO members do not reach the threshold that was discussed today? My second question is following up on a colleague on Iran. What intel reports do say that everything over there was obliterated?
Yeah, well, there are numerous of those reports, and they're coming out fast and furious. But the most respected ones we've already seen. And I will say that on a very confidential basis, they're looking at the reports, like numerous reports, and including people going to the site and checking the site. And they're going to be having, I guess you're going to be having over the next couple of days a full, you're going to encapsulate it. But no, the site was obliterated, just like I said it was. And just like the pilots should be given credit for. As far as Article 5.
Yeah, well, the actual, okay. What he more than likely means by obliterated here is, again, the actual site itself, yeah, was bombed into nothing, right? Like, it's no longer there. Does that mean the actual nuclear program itself is obliterated? No, because more than likely, because the U.S. notified the Iranians saying, like, here's when we're going to attack, this is how we're going to attack. So, again, here's how we're going to do it, here's when we're going to do it, here's how we'll do it. Please move all of your equipment out of the way. More than likely, what happened is the Iranians probably moved the necessary equipment to be able to further enrich that fucking uranium. And guess what? They just have to move it to another fucking site. And also moved the fissile material as well. And the reason for that is, again, like I've been saying before, no one wants a bunch of nuclear material to be mixed with the dust that gets kicked up from these fucking explosions, from these fucking goddamn bombs, to be mixed up with the dust that gets kicked up mixes with the fucking airstream, and spreads a bunch of irradiated material all across the neighboring countries. Because guess what? Where did that happen before? Chernobyl. Because that's quite literally what happened. So Chernobyl went into meltdown in about the 70s to 80s, right? Went into meltdown, fucking blew up, kicked up a bunch of nuclear dust, and it spread a bunch of material across a lot of parts of the Balkans and Eastern Europe. People, like, this is shit that quite literally happened in Canada, or not Canada, in Romania. There was a lot more cancer reports that were popping up in as like a sort of anomaly because of the Chernobyl meltdown.
But look, when I came here because it was something I'm supposed to be doing, but I left here a little bit differently. I said, I watched the heads of these countries get up, and the love and the passion that they showed for their country was unbelievable. I've never seen quite anything like it. They want to protect their country, and they need the United States. And without the United States, it's not going to be the same. And you can ask Mark, or you can ask any of the people that were there. It was really moving to see it. They love their country. They were so respectful of me because I'm the head of the United States. And I made, the King of Saudi Arabia when I was in the Middle East. So I was in Qatar for a different reason, not a reason to get shot at. We were in there for economic development reasons, Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. All three leaders of those countries. And we took back $5.1 trillion into the United States. All three leaders said, you're presiding over the hottest...
Dubious claim at best, the 5.1 trillion, but whatever. Like, that's already been gone into.
This country in the world. The United States right now is the hottest country. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants a piece of it. He said a year ago, your country was dead. You had a deadhead running it. You had a country that was dead, and it was dead. You had people pouring through the borders. You had inflation. You had everything. He said, you've made it in 5 months at that time. You made it the hottest country. This is the hottest country in the world. The United States right now is the hottest country in the world. And when I was around that table, it was a
very hot,
group
folks.
of people, many of whom I knew from previous. When I saw the president they had for the country, almost everyone, and you probably have the tapes, it was very public, but almost every one of them said, thank God for the United States. Without the United States, they couldn't really have NATO. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It will in the future because now they're paying much more money, but it wouldn't work. It was great. And I left here differently. I left here saying that these people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff, and we're here to help them protect their country. Okay, we'll do one or two more.
Again, like I've said before, first off, the U.S. itself doesn't even prescribe to the 5% goal. Whatever, it would have to be like $2 trillion on average because, again, the U.S. has a significantly stronger economy in comparison to, every single European nation. We've done a sort of estimated amount for the GDP of the European Union, and obviously this heavily varies per the sort of, differing polities within the European Union. Some are poorer, some are richer. Some don't even have the UK in it anymore. But, that's a complete other different shit show of a story. Who even knows if the UK even has to go along with this anyways. Whatever. It's fucking stupid. But sure, whatever, man. The thing is that America has way more fucking money in comparison to everyone else in the world, so they can afford to spend a lot more money on their military. Quite literally. And again, $1 trillion from, the EU itself, that is about 5% of the EU's entire GDP. And for what exactly? Nothing. Again, if we live in a peaceful, insane world, what is necessary to happen is to reduce military spending. That is how that works. Why on earth are you justifying all of this fucking military spending? I don't know, because complete, absolute fucking nonsense and stupid. What war is the European Union currently fighting? There's no basis for any of this in the world. The United States themselves also decided to claim the mantle of the world police themselves. So that is why they justified more, military spending in of itself. But more so, that was also an excuse by the military-industrial complex to justify further military spending and militarization into, complete fucking nonsense. It's fucking stupid. There's no basis for any of this. Trump just wants to do this so he can be a chaos agent, and also just because of, the fact that he wants to assert U.S. dominance and hierarchy of systems of control upon the rest of the world. That is the point.
Thank you, Mr. President. A question on Spain. Are you satisfied with today?
Oh, I think Spain's terrible what they've done. No, I do. They're the only country that won't pay the full up. They want to stay at 2%. I think it's terrible. They're doing very well. The economy is very well. And that economy could be blown right out of the water with something bad happening. Spain is the only country that... Are you from Spain? Good, congratulations. You're the only country that is not paying. I don't know what the problem is. I think it's too bad. So we'll make...
Why should they pay? They are the furthest away from the Russians. Like, if the hypothetical invasion happens, it's stupid. Listen, the only reason why we're fucking falling for the Mad King's delusions here in like Canada is because, I don't know, we're just doing appeasement of the dumb fuck Mad King. So it's just like we're like complete fucking cowards. Okay, listen, Spain are giga chads, you know, saying like, yeah, we don't need to fucking pay like more money. Like, why should we? Like, who are we going to war with? Who are we fighting? We're a peaceful country. We have no reason to spend so much money into like militaristic adventurism. It's fucking stupid.
Make it up. You know what we're going to do? We're negotiating with Spain on a trade deal. We're going to make them pay twice as much. And I'm actually serious about that. We're going to make Spain... I like Spain. I have so many people from Spain that it's a great place and they're great people. But Spain is the only country out of all other countries that refuses to pay. And, you know, so they want a little bit of a free ride. But they'll have to pay it back to us on trade because I'm not going to let that happen. It's unfair. It's unfair to NATO. All right, sir, please.
Yeah, sure. It's unfair what Spain is doing.
Man.
Stupid.
Mr. President, Johannes Petra from Austrian National Television.
How are you?
You once said that you would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. You later said that sarcastically.
Of course it was sarcastic.
But you've now been in office for 5 months. And
You Austrian national fucking TV. Okay, we have like some stupid Austrian Groiper or some shit. It was definitely sarcastic. Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, you were definitely joking about that on the fucking campaign trails, making this like one of your like the key things that you were constantly talking about at fucking rallies. But sure, man, totally. It was sarcastic, guys. It was totally a joke. Nonsense.
5 days. Why have you not been able to end the Ukraine war?
Because it's more difficult than people would have any idea. Vladimir Putin has been more difficult. Frankly, I had some problems with Zelensky. You may have read about him. And it's been more difficult than other wars. I mean, look, we just ended a war in 12 days. That was similar for 30 years, frankly. We ended Rwanda and the Congo. They're coming to sign the documents. We've already signed basic documents, but they're coming, I think, to the White House on Friday. We ended Serbia was going to go at it. But maybe the most important of all, India.
No evidence at all for the Serbia claim. The only one that I'll give him is the Rwanda one. Sure, okay. I'll give you the cease, because there is a drafted ceasefire between the Rwandans, the Congolese, and the M23 rebels, which are Rwandan backed. This is true. Okay, we'll give you that. And again, like I said before, Putin has strategic initiative. Why should he deal with you at all? Like, why should he go for a ceasefire? There is no point in him going for a fucking ceasefire because, again, for the entirety of the war, the reason why ceasefires haven't happened in terms of any of the talks between the Russians and the Ukrainians is because they have fundamentally irreconcilable positions. For all the dumbasses that talk about how Boris Johnson was the one who, like, sunk the initial fucking talks, even back during those talks, the Russians were talking about the Ukrainians demilitarizing. And the Ukrainians were never willing to do that because, again, they know that the U.S. is seemingly whiff-waffly on fucking following up on their security guarantees. So they don't really want it to militarize at all because the Russians just did an invasion of them in 2022. So it's just like, we don't fucking trust you guys at all because you have been constantly breaking tenets of agreements that we've had with you in the past. Why should we believe anything that you guys say? You guys are charlatans. You are all liars. Why should we believe in anything from the Russians? Fuck that. And this is broadly speaking true in terms of like the propaganda and the nature of what like Russia does. They will just spin up so many lies and come up with so much fucking bullshit and throw it at the fucking goddamn wall such that, eventually something will fucking stick. But unfortunately, you know, since we have Delulu fucking goddamn Mad King in power right now, all that fucking propaganda stuck to him. Because, again, he's a delusional, conspiratorial Mad King. So, that's cool. Also, I think our boy Habibi Lenin has left. It's unfortunate. Because I'm not seeing them in the user list. It's unfortunate.
India and Pakistan. And that wasn't whether or not they may someday have nukes like we're talking about in the Middle East, like we're talking about with Israel and Iran. This is they have nuclear weapons. I ended that with a series of phone calls on trade. I said, look, if you're going to go fighting each other, it was getting very bad. You know how bad that last attack was. It was really bad. If you're going to go fighting each other, we're not doing any trade deal. No, you have to do a trade deal. They said, we're not doing any trade deal. And in fact, I had the general, who was very impressive. The general from Pakistan was in my office last week. You know, Prime Minister Modi is a great friend of mine. He's a great gentleman. He's a great man. And I got them to reason. I said, we're not doing a trade deal if you're going to fight. And if you're going to fight each other, we're not doing a trade deal. And you know what? They said, no, I want to do the trade deal. We stopped the nuclear war. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff. Here's another
Pakistan mentioned.
All right. Go ahead.
Mr. President, to follow up on Ukraine, will the United States contribute any more money to Ukraine's defense this year, to the $5 billion that allies are giving? And one question, you had another meeting with the Dutch opposition leader, Mr. Wilders. Can you tell us about that meeting? And are you upset about his anti-Muslim stance?
I'm not upset about it. It's just his view. He's unhappy with the way things are going in this country and various countries. He was an opposition leader, and I was asked to meet with the opposition leader by the people that are running. I think they have some deal where if you have a meeting, you're supposed to meet with an opposition leader. I said, that's strange. We don't do that, but I didn't know him. He seemed like a very nice guy, but he's in opposition to the current people, and that was set up by the current people. So I assume when I met...
Wasn't there like a fucking collapse of the Dutch government like not that fucking long ago because of like some particular vote that happened like under Garrett Wilders? This was like a thing that happened a while ago. Whatever. So that's stupid.
Met with the prime minister. You're supposed to meet with the opposition. We'll have to try that sometime in our country. Let's not do it. But he was. I thought he was very good as far as the money going. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of spirit. Look, Vladimir Putin really has to end that war. People are dying at levels that people haven't seen before for a long time. Go ahead. Go ahead. White shirt. Oh, she's all excited.
So, BBC News Ukrainian.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ukraine.
Oh,
so my question to you is whether or not the US is ready to sell anti-air missile systems Patriot to Ukraine. We know that Russia has been pounding Ukraine really heavily right now.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Well,
and
I can see you very, it's amazing.
And me with the kids. I'm in Warsaw actually because he wanted to.
Wait, what the fuck did he just say? Like, what?
Systems Patriot to Ukraine. We know that Russia has been pounding Ukraine really heavily right now.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Well,
and
I can see you very, it's amazing.
And me with the kids. I'm in Warsaw actually because he wanted me to.
Is your husband a soldier? No.
He's
there now?
Yeah.
Well, that's rough stuff, right? That's tough. And you're living here?
In Warsaw.
And you're a reporter?
I am.
Good. So let me just tell you, they do want to have the anti-missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available. They're very hard to get. We need them too. We were supplying them to Israel, and they're very effective. 100% effective. Hard to believe how effective. And they do want that more than any other thing.
We love Israel, don't we, folks?
And I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you. So say hello to your husband, okay? Thank you.
Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You were criticizing...
Where are you from?
Bloomberg News.
Oh, Bloomberg. That's wonderful.
You were criticizing the Federal Reserve Chair before coming to this summit.
I think he's terrible.
I was wondering if you've begun interviewing different candidates for the Fed pick.
Yeah, I know within 3 or 4 people who are going to...
Keep in mind, Jerome Powell is the guy he fucking that he put in. And again, the current policy of what the Fed is doing is that they want to wait and see what fucking happens with the, well, should be fairly obvious and simple. They want to see wait what happens with the economy, with the bond yields and everything, because again, with the current Trump trade policy, it's a complete just random idiotic shit show, and he just keeps doing belligerent nonsense in terms of fucking trade. So right now, he hasn't been really talking about like any of the tariffs or idiotic policies. So what Jerome Powell is doing is saying like, okay, well, considering that we have an unstable as the president of the United States, and he just wants to do random fucking bullshit, we are not going to raise interest rates or really do much of anything. We just want to see how the economy plays out. Quite again, like I said before, the U.S.'s credit rating is now regarded as poor by the U.S.'s own credit rating system, and also the bond yields went down quite literally, which is a huge indicator for economic recession. There has been multiple recession indicators. Stagflation is now happening within the United States because of his idiotic trade policies. And so, Jerome Powell doesn't want to really do anything because he wants to see how the economy is going to play out. This is a process that takes time, quite literally. So, what's the problem with this? Should be fairly obvious. He just wants to put in a stooge who will just listen to him. Why does he want to increase the interest rates? Because it's not increase the interest rates. He wants to lower the interest rates so then his fucking billionaire buddies can buy more bonds so he can continue to shore up the fucking goddamn stock market. That's what he wants to do. So like, let's take a look at the S&P 500. How's that doing? Wow, it went up a little bit today. Why don't we take a look at the yearly or the 6 month? At this point, it's now gone up. It has now recovered from the complete utter belligerence that Donald Trump was fucking doing. This right here was when he was doing the stupid dumb fuck trade policy, and this was like pretty much a self-imposed crash. It is now more or less back at the position that it used to be at right around when he took office. Right around this point here. About what it was before. So, again, why the fuck this goddamn, Trump wants to have, like, I don't know, complete nonsense? Because he wants these numbers to keep going up and up and up. That's the point of him complaining to Jerome Powell. He wants the treasury bond market to help supplement the fucking stock market. That's the point of him doing any of this. So, Jerome Powell, understanding that Trump has been inherently unstable and is willing to just say, like, complete nonsense 1 minute that causes a fucking potential huge fucking crash, has to work to try to recover these fucking goddamn numbers, and then on another can just, like, completely reverse course. Again, markets, very well known for loving instability. Guess what? Whoa. It turns out that it makes a lot more sense to just wait and see what happens before going forward with, I don't know, any particular policy. That's the fucking point of him saying that he doesn't want to do anything to the interest rates, and he just wants to wait around and let things play out, because again, there has been a lot of fucking recession indicators that have been constantly ticking out. Ticking off constantly in terms of like stagflation, the bond market also having fucking problems. The treasury yields, the 20-year treasury yield was went up, which is another recession indicator. So he wants to see just what happens before he goes forward with anything in particular to try to lower inflation or say, try to do anything about the unemployment rate.
I mean, he goes up pretty soon, fortunately, because I think he's terrible. We have no inflation. We have a tremendous economy. Hundreds of billions of dollars of tariff money is pouring in. Factories are being built because they don't want to pay the tariffs, so they're building them all over the country. I think we're close to $15 trillion. I told you.
Again, no evidence of this at all whatsoever. We've talked about fucking tariffs constantly. It's just complete fucking poppycock.
5.1 trillion from the Middle East alone, but of investment money coming in. There's never been anything like that in the history of our country. But we have no inflation. And we have borrowing because Biden, stupidly, they did short-term debt. So we have borrowing coming up. And, we'll go 10 years, maybe longer, maybe shorter, but we'll go a long period of time when we do the debt. And because of him, because of this guy, we will have to pay for years. We'll be paying for him. And I said to him, listen, there's no inflation. He says, but maybe there'll be some. That's true. I said, if there is some, what you do is raise the rate. I'm okay with that. You raise the rate in 2 years from now or a year from now. But because the rate's high, we have to pay more for debt.
Yeah, it's because... Wait, he's talked about he wants to raise the rates now? Okay, whatever. It's fucking stupid.
It's pretty equal. In other words, if it's 4%, it's 4%. If you drop it a point, you'll pay 3%. So it's fairly equal. Not necessarily, but fairly equal. So we're going to end up paying maybe 2 points or 3 points more. 3 points would be about $900 billion a year because of this very average mentally person. He's an average mentally person. I'd say low in terms of what he does. Low.
This is coming from the dude... Okay, you appointed Jerome Powell. And this is the dude who can barely speak at like a 5th grade fucking level. What the fuck are you talking about? No, you're just mad that Jerome Powell's not a fucking stooge and he actually, I don't know, is trying to do his fucking job. That's the fucking problem. It is a problem that he's having with people who are competent because he wants sycophants that he can control. That is the point of all of this. It's fucking stupid.
Low IQ for what he does, okay? Wait, so instead of paying $900 billion, we don't want to pay 900 just because he doesn't want to lower the rate. I said, if there's inflation in 2 years or 3 years or 1 year from now, you raise the rate. You take care of the inflation, among other things. But he's probably a very political...
I thought you said that there was no inflation. So now you're saying that he needs to take care of the inflation? Doesn't mean there's inflation on the horizon? This is what I mean. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's silly.
I guess, I don't know. I think he's a very stupid person, actually. All right, one more, let's go. How about...
Yeah, he's not... Again, you fucking appointed him, you fucking moron.
Thank you. Go ahead. She looks so happy and everything.
Thank you. I'm from Spain too. I'm Ana from La Vanguardia. I wanted to know if...
You're where from?
Spain. I wanted to know if you want to...
That's the Spain corner right there. Shouldn't have said that. That's okay. I do like Spain, by the way. I think it's unfair that they're not paying, but go ahead.
Are you going to negotiate directly with Spain about...
I'm going to negotiate directly with Spain. I'm going to do it myself. They're going to pay. They'll pay more money this way. You should tell them to go back and pay. You're a reporter? You tell them to go back. They ought to join all of those countries that are paying 5%. Spain's going to be just about the only one that's not. They were the most hostile toward doing it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Because again, no one most people are deciding to bend the knee. You're just mad that Spain's not trying to bend the fucking knee to your Mad King Delulu nonsense. Like, that's the problem that you're having. It's stupid.
Okay, all right, Kelly, go ahead.
Cope.
Here we go. Here's another one.
Thank you.
We got them all today.
Okay. So, Mr. President, you talked about expecting some on-the-ground assessments at Fordo and other sites.
No,
Is that Israeli and U.S.?
It's been obliterated, Kelly. It's been obliterated.
So what is your message, then, sir, to the intelligence community when they present reports? You're not disputing the DIA report. You're just...
They presented a report that wasn't finished. We're talking about something that took place 3 days ago.
I understand that.
The report was done 2 days ago. Wait a minute.
Yes.
They didn't see it. All they can do is take a guess. Now, if you take a look at the pictures, if you take a look how it's all blackened, you know the fire and brimstone is all underground because it's granite and it's all underground. You don't show it. But even there, with all of that being said, the whole area for 75 yards around the hole where it hit is black with fire. The group that's run by this guy, I'll talk about it for a second because we're going to issue a report. And I think it's not even a very exciting report at this point. It's been obliterated, totally obliterated. And they did a report, but it was like, if you look at the dates, it's just a few days after it happened.
Sir.
So they didn't see it. They said it may be very severe.
Do you have a message for the intelligence community, though, in terms of...
Again, there's just no evidence to say that is the case. It may be very severe, but again, if it was as severe as saying, we are very soon going to get a lot of radiological reports from based off of what he is fucking saying. It's stupid.
Information getting to you, then it's not.
I don't really have a message. I would say issue the report when you know what happened. I wouldn't say that it could be severe, or maybe not. They use the word severe. It could be severe, or maybe it's not. So people like you picked up and said, "Oh, it's not severe." No, the report was not a complete report. Yeah, the message was probably wait till you know the answer before you.
And so would you not have a public opponent to your Zelensky?
It's breaking news, you fucking moron. Like, this is how it works. If news breaks and important reports come out, it is the media's job to report on it. That's how that fucking works, you idiot.
Meeting for a tactical reason.
Maybe you shouldn't have put out an initial fucking report to begin with if you didn't want the media to report on it. Stupid.
Let him answer this.
Hello, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders.
Oh, here comes the soy LARP Crusader Reddit tier LARPer over here saying like, yeah, I'm not going to answer the question whatever. I'm just going to like get into my fucking soapbox and like give the poor painted 40K miniature over here the good sucking off that he needs.
The skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people in the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons, to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? They share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce. And when they introduce that preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12, 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo,
so I guess like Pete Hegseth's okay with like all the nuclear dust that's being kicked up into the atmosphere that's going to spread to all the countries, potentially irradiating a bunch of countries. Okay, sure, buddy, you just caused World War III then. Very good. Congratulations, Donald Trump administration. World War III, I guess, is actually here. Very, very cool. Very fun. It's like, yeah, it's just Reddit. It's soy. It's weak keyboard warrior fucking shit. Like, fuck off, dude.
oh, you better get a big shovel and go really deep because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that dropped the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to...
Dude, fucking B-2 pilots just probably dropped it and then fucked off. Like, yeah, they totally know the exact precision and, like, consequences and results for us. Like, what the fuck? It's stupid.
The table right away because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops despite what the fake news wants to say.
But you're not disputing the report said what it said, even though it was...
Soy, cringe,
The report
LARP
said
shit.
what it said, and it was fine. It was severe. They think, but they had no idea. They shouldn't have issued a report until they did, but we've got the information. I think Pete said it better than you can say it. And, you know, you should be proud, especially you should be proud of those pilots, and you shouldn't be trying to demean them.
No,
those pilots flew at great risk, a big chance that they've never come back home and see their husbands or their wives.
Dude, what is this fucking stupid soy... Oh, you shouldn't be degrading the pilots. Oh, that's not that degrading the fucking pilots. It's calling into question, like, your reporting and what your intelligence agencies have been fucking saying, who should have very up-to-date information on all this fucking stuff. And same with some of the most fucking advanced surveillance equipment on the planet, which the U.S. fucking developed and should have. You should fucking know what the fuck is happening. Because, again, based off of the claims that you're having, you said that you fucking bombed fissile fucking nuclear material. Do you know what that fucking means? You're kicking up a bunch of nuclear material into the atmosphere for it to spread into other fucking goddamn countries. That's a problem. It makes everyone less safe in general. It is very important to be precise with your fucking language when we're talking about stuff like this. But again, it's all about like soy LARP bullshit to be able to appease to some like 3 IQ troglodytes that exist within the United States of America. It's all about like, appeasing the dumb fuck lumpen prole. It's stupid.
Let me just tell you, you and NBC fake news, which is one of the worst, and CNN, New York Times, are all bad. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. You know what? You should be praising those people instead of trying to find something. By trying to go and get me.
Again, he can't like address any of the positions, any of the problems that are being raised here because again, like, he's just gonna get mad because he's being challenged fundamentally because he's a fucking crackpot authoritarian. That's the point.
Those people, they were devastated. You know, I got a call from Missouri, great state, that I won 3 times by a lot. And I got a call that the pilots and the people on the plane were devastated because they were trying to minimize the attack. And they all said it was hit. But we don't think it was really maybe hit that badly. And they were devastated. They put their lives on the line, and then they have, and I'm not referring to you, but real scum come out and write reports that are as negative as they could possibly be. It should be the opposite. You should make them heroes and heroines. You should make them really people that they were so devastated with this news. And you know what they said?
This is complete fucking childish nonsense. Like, the fuck are you talking about? It's nonsense. It's stupid.
Spoke to one of them. Said, sir, we hit the site. It was perfect. It was dead on. because they don't understand fake news, because they have a normal life, except they have to fly very big, very fast planes. But it's a shame. You should be making them heroes. All right, in the back. Go ahead, back white.
Stupid.
Yeah. White jacket. Yeah. Go ahead, give me a mic. Hello.
Deborah Haynes from Sky News.
Good.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard
Oh, here
your
it is.
NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No,
Do you
he did
not-
it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like...
Dude, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, daddy? Bro, like, again, like, we've talked about the whole daddy thing. Because, again, here's the, like, soy bar bullshit. I just want to get... That's being fucking put out by the White House at this point. Like, dude, like, what the fuck is this? What is it? Is this, like, Usher? Is this copyrighted fucking music? Is that what's going on here? Like... Your attention. Yeah, that's copyrighted fucking music. Nice fucking meme. Look at this fucking soy LARP fucking shit. Like, again, like, this was a point that was raised by ContraPoints. The fucking whole, like, daddy fixation, it's about one thing and one thing only. Whoa. Maintenance of hierarchy and control. All they care about is bullying around and putting out, whoa, like, stupid, dumb fuck, like, I don't know, idiot propaganda like this in order to appease people who have, like, submissive fucking complexes, okay? It's all a fucking submissive fetishism to these fucking people. It's always fucking sexual with these, like, weirdos. And for what purpose? Maintenance of fucking hierarchy and control. That's the only thing that these fucking goddamn soy LARPing morons. We also know, like, the fucking, Tucker Carlson bit at, like, I think it was CPAC. I don't remember which year of CPAC it was. Talk about, like, yeah, daddy's home, and he needs to give his daughter a fucking spanking. Very fucking weird. He just, like, kind of brought it out of complete, like, nowhere nonsense. And this is, like, extremely fucking homoerotic. Like, dude, like, Trump supporters, I need you to fucking explain this. Like, why the fuck are you, like, simping so fucking hard? You want, like, suck the cock of, like, some, I don't know, 80-year-old fucking man. It's fucking weird. It's extremely sexualized, and you people want to fucking project that onto, like, everyone else for some fucking reason because they don't like this, like, weird catheter-wearing, decrepit old husk try to, like, butt fuck the remaining routing carcass of the United States of America. It's fucking weird. Like, fucking look at this. Daddy merch out now. This is fucking weird, dude. And we all know about all the other fucking crackpot authoritarians who had these, like, weird daddy complexes raised around them. Stalin had the same fucking complex raised around him. Same with Hitler. Quite literally. He was often called my father. Mein Führer, my father. Quite literally. There's a reason why it was called the fucking fatherland consistently. All fucking tin pot, crackpot fucking authoritarians had the exact same fucking attitudes catalyzed against them. It's fucking weird. Oh, 1000%, Boy Meets Mini. Yeah, there would be Trump-themed, like, purity fucking dance balls and shit like that. Like, that's synonymous with these people. Like, of course. It's all about one thing and one thing only. Maintenance of hierarchy and control for these people. They are obsessed with it.
Like children, and they're obviously listening to you, and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that. But do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own?
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning.
And again, like I said before, the reason why they're obsessed with these daddy distinctions is because they do not regard people as human beings, as people with thoughts, desires, feelings of their own, a will of their own. They want children in particular to be simulacra, like the baby birds who just imprint to every single word that comes from the hierarch or the person that comes from on high. That is the fucking point of all this. Conservatism, like I've said before, is a very inherently submissive ideology. You must always submit to those that are inherently fucking on top of you in the pyramid, in the hierarchy. Like, it is a very, like, fundamentally anti-human ideology.
And I think they'll be able to, and I think they're going to remember this day. And this was a big day for NATO. This was a very big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, you know what? We've been trying to raise the rate for 30 years, he said, 20 years, from almost the beginning. And he's been there for a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened. What you did is amazing. It's been sort of an amazing day for a lot of reasons, but also for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think they can do it without you, though, in the future? Can they do it
Well,
without
ask Mark.
States?
I mean, you have to ask Mark. Okay. So we're heading back. I want to thank these two gentlemen behind me. They're incredible people, both of them. They've done a fantastic job. And Susie's in the front, and she's done great. And Monica, thank you very much. It was quite an exciting time. And
Sure.
we'll be heading back. We'll be back soon. We'll see you in Washington, D.C. Remember this. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. Thank you very much.
All right, so complete delusional schizo nonsense as always from the orange man in power. Again, like, just complete nonsense, lies in terms of most of the claims that are made here. There's, like, basically no evidence for most of the bullshit that's going on, and it's the same exact idiot fucking grievance bullshit as always from the Donald Trump administration. Like, yeah, like, I don't really see anything else to be really expected besides that. Like, he's a complete delusional fucking mad king who just wants to, I don't know, be a chaos agent and cause as much, like, chaos and bullshit for the express purpose of being able to, well, centralize control more and more around himself. Because he's a delusional mad king who just wants to be a fucking tin pot, crackpot dictator. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.